Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so thrilled to have you with us today. If you're the kind of person who loves unraveling the weird, everyday mysteries of how our bodies actually work, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into a fascinating, science-backed look at a very specific and, let's be honest, totally annoying bodily reaction. We're going to explore the direct link between alcohol consumption and your sinuses. It's a surprisingly complex biological reaction, and we've distilled all the research down to help you understand exactly what's happening behind the scenes in your respiratory system. Let's just jump right into the mystery, shall we?
So, ever woke up hungover and completely stuffed up? I mean, really think about that feeling for a second. You've had a night out, maybe a few drinks with friends, and the next morning you wake up expecting to feel, a bit groggy. But alongside that, you suddenly realize you can barely breathe through your nose. It feels like you've somehow miraculously caught a severe head cold overnight. It's a super relatable, incredibly frustrating experience. But why on earth does a drink in your stomach translate to a total blockage in your face?
We're all pretty familiar with the standard morning after symptoms, right? You know the drill. Feeling groggy, heavily fatigued, maybe even a little anxious. Those are the classic side effects. But that third one, nasal congestion, that's the real outlier. Now, not everybody gets it, but for those who do, whether it's from an alcohol intolerance or just overdoing it a bit, it is a very real physical consequence. It's a mystery that actually gives us a fantastic window into the mechanics of our own anatomy. Okay, let's dive into this. Culprit number one, blood vessels and hydration. Let's meet our first biological suspect. Now, before we go blaming the alcohol, what exactly is a stuffy nose? Basically, nasal congestion occurs when the delicate tissues lining the inside of your nose become inflamed and irritated. And that inflammation? It sets off a massive chain reaction. It causes your body to produce excess mucus, and the tissues themselves actually swell up. This swelling literally physically blocks your airway, making it incredibly hard to breathe through your nose, which, you guessed it, forces you to start mouth breathing. It can even lead to a super frustrating runny nose. So how exactly does the alcohol trigger all of this? Let's walk through the physical reaction. Step 1. Alcohol enters your system. When it does, it acts directly on your vascular system. Specifically, Step 2, it causes your blood vessels to constrict and then dilate. And this rapid changing of the blood vessels directly leads to Step 3, swelling in the nasal passages. If you're someone who's already prone to sinus issues, this vascular reaction to alcohol is basically just going to pour gas on the fire, swelling those passages right shut. You see, hydrated sinuses are happy, healthy sinuses. When you've got plenty of water in your system, the mucus your body produces is thin and flows really easily. But alcohol is a diuretic, meaning it actively dehydrates you. And when you're dehydrated, your sinuses absolutely pay the price. You end up with thick mucus, severe congestion, and that awful dry throat. You're essentially taking a smooth-flowing river and turning it into a thick, blocked-up swamp. Let's move on and see how this builds. Culprit number 2, the histamine connection.
If you suffer from seasonal allergies, just hearing that word probably makes you shudder. Histamines are chemical compounds produced naturally by our immune system. Their whole job is to trigger inflammation and allergic reactions to protect your body. When they're actively at work, you get all those classic allergy symptoms: the sneezing, the watery eyes, the incessant itching, and yep, the nasal congestion. But here's the real kicker. Histamines aren't just produced by your body. They're actually found externally too, hiding in plain sight in a lot of the foods and drinks we consume every single day.
And this brilliantly illustrates our hit list. If you drink beer, red wine, champagne, or sparkling wines, you are essentially pouring liquid histamines straight into your system. The same goes for aged and fermented alcohols. Think fancy ports and sherries, along with certain liqueurs. When you toss these back, you're not just dealing with the alcohol itself, you're literally dumping a massive load of allergy-triggering chemicals directly into your body. Now, before you think you can just outsmart this biological trap by switching up your drink order, well, I have some bad news. Even non-alcoholic beers and wines contain histamines. Because the histamine actually comes from the fermentation and brewing process itself, removing the alcohol at the end doesn't magically remove those chemical triggers. Your nose totally doesn't care if that wine has 0% ABV, it is still going to react to those histamines. Which brings us to the ultimate plot twist of the explainer, the DAO enzyme blockade. Meet DAO, or diamine oxidase. I want you to think of this enzyme as your body's dedicated cleanup crew. Under normal circumstances, when you consume histamines from your food or drinks, DAO swoops right in and breaks down that excess histamine so it doesn't build up and cause all those sneezy, puffy, congested reactions. It basically keeps your system perfectly balanced.
So the crucial point here is the crazy contrast between a normal system and an alcohol-impaired one. Normally, DAO effortlessly breaks down those excess histamines, but here is the massive biological double whammy. Alcohol actually prevents the production of that DAO enzyme. Think about that for a second. You're drinking a beverage loaded with histamines, and the alcohol in that exact same drink is simultaneously disabling the very enzyme your body needs to fight them off. Without DAO acting as the cleanup crew, your histamine levels just spike dramatically, leading straight to that miserable, stuffy nose.
All right, let's talk about how to fix this, how to find relief. If you're already dealing with that morning after stuffiness, grabbing some over-the-counter allergy or antihistamine pills can definitely help minimize the reaction and bring down that swelling. But we really have to look at the root cause here. If you're finding time and time again that alcohol is the common denominator causing this misery, the most effective fix is lifestyle-based. It's all about knowing your personal tolerance levels. Ultimately, cutting back and practicing moderation isn't just the absolute best way to manage these histamine reactions, it's honestly a great step for your overall physical health. Now, I do need to impartially mention the serious medical boundaries here. While a stuffy nose is usually just a huge annoyance, if drinking alcohol ever triggers actual difficulty breathing, severe swelling, or a rapid pulse, which is called tachycardia, you need to stop drinking immediately and contact a doctor right away. Those are clear signs of a dangerous systemic reaction that goes way, way beyond a simple sinus issue. Which leaves us with this final thought. We've traced the biology today, right? From the constricting blood vessels and dehydration to those sneaky histamines, and finally the absolute sabotage of your natural DAO enzymes. It is a wildly complex cascade of events happening right behind your face. So I'll leave you with this. Next time you go to pour a glass of that beautiful, aged red wine or crack open a frosty beer, will your sinuses end up paying the tab? Thanks so much for exploring the science with me today in this explainer, and keep asking questions about the amazing ways your body works.